and welcome to the Learning Ladder. A few years ago I did a How I Homeschool series for different subjects that we do, sort of our main subjects, and I thought I'd do it again this year to see what's changed since back then. I'll link back to those videos as well, so if you want to see what it was like back then versus now. I think it was about 2 or 3 years ago, I can't remember exactly. But I thought I'd do it again for 6th grade. So we'll start with language arts. So we do a curriculum, but we also do a program that I created, which is called Dragon Academy, which is based on the Wings of Fire book series 1 through 6. And it covers a portion of our language arts. It also covers our science, our portion of our history, portion of our geography, and it includes IT. Now, obviously, you could use it for all of your geography and all of your history, but we don't. I do the story of the world, and I do some other additional geography things, which you'll see when we get to that subject. But for right now, we're talking about language arts. So the first thing we do for language arts is she will read aloud her chapters for the book that she's reading for that day. So for example, we're on the Hidden Kingdom now, so this is week 14. We've done this week already, but this is just an example. So for week 14, day 1, she had to read chapters 12 and 13 and then answer her chapter questions. So she has her own book, I have mine. So she'll go to the appropriate page and she will answer the relevant questions to where she's up to with her reading that day. It does have the page number at the end, so if she was stuck and wasn't sure of the answer, she could go back and look over what the answer was. In the teacher guide, it does have the answer to the question. So then we have Dragon Grammar. This is the book, and basically what she'll do is she'll look at portions of her talent writing, which is what we do for handwriting, and she'll fit them into the correct category of figurative speech, or we'll break them down into looking why it makes a good sentence, so looking at what verbs, adjectives and that are in there, how the character is expressing themselves, if it's got strong dialogue or vivid scenes, that kind of thing. And that's what we do in our Dragon Grammar book. And then she will do her talent writing, which is a copywork from the Wings of Fire books. So this is what it looks like. It has the extract on this side and then a page for her to write. Now on a Monday, she will do her writing project book. So throughout Dragon Academy, there are 3 different projects that they do in addition to these Usborne books. So we've already finished the first one, which was Usborne fantasy writing book. Now this one we're on to now is Write and Design Your Own Magazine. So the reason I scheduled the Usborne fantasy and sci-fi writing book is because one of the projects she will do towards the end of the year is write her own fantasy story. So that was to help guide them and help them work through there's so many great things in these Usborne books that really help you to complete a project or to learn how to do something. So that's what we did with the fantasy and sci-fi book. And now this one is specifically because the second project that she'll be doing as part of Dragon Academy this year is to make her own creature magazine. So once she's finished this book, it will set her on a good path to be able to make her own magazine. And these books are really interesting. So here's table of contents for the magazine book. And it includes everything. So you've got making layouts, printing, some extra things at the back. Talking about different shapes and sizes you can use for your magazine. Comic strip information, character information, play with lettering, covers. So much great information in here. Printing covers by hand. So this is a really fantastic book. So that's what we're currently working on a Monday and a Thursday. So every day she'll do her reading. And she'll do her chapter questions. Monday and Thursday she'll do her writing project book, which again is Design Your Own Magazine currently. And then on a Thursday and a Friday she doesn't do a reading, she does her scrolls activities. So this is a scrolls book. So then there are usually 2 per day scroll activities that she'll have to do. So these were the ones that she would have done on day 4. So you have read about 5 of the Dragon Kingdom so far: the Sky Wings, Sea Wings, Rain Wings, Sand Wings, and Ice Wings. Make a list of all the things you know about each kingdom, and then using the list above, which of the kingdoms would you prefer? Explain your answer. And then here's another example. After hearing about all the previous queens, make a list of all the qualities you think a Rain Wing queen needs, and then complete a character profile printable for glory. So she'll complete that in her scrolls book. So that's what these look like, and then I just stick these in, or she sticks them in to the actual scrolls book once she's completed it. There are additional printables that, for example, will be asked to be completed in these scrolls, things like Venn diagrams and stuff, but that's what we do with scrolls. There are some fun things as well, like art and feasts and stuff. So scrolls isn't always writing, but it is a big chunk of what the scrolls activities are, as you would expect with the name scrolls. Her third writing project that she's already completed because it was at the beginning of the year, well, not beginning, sort of middle-ish, was a picture book for one of the Dragon Academy, I nearly said them, for one of the Wings of Fire books, and it was so cute. I absolutely loved it. She made it all interactive and pop-up, and she's so good at making pop-up books. And she even does things where you pull things out and everything else. It's just not just lift the flap, but you kind of pull tabs, and I don't know, she's so creative that I just don't know where she gets it from, because I loved lift the flap stuff, making things like that, but I could never do those pull tabs and stuff. And she's never watched it, because I did put some links in of videos you could watch to show you how to make the lift the flap books, and she never ended up needing to watch them, because she's like, no, I've got it, I know how to do it, and I just let her get on with it. And it was really, really amazing. It was better than a lot of pop-up books I've seen. But yes, she just makes the best books, pop-up books and interactive books. So that was the first project that we did. The second one will be her creature magazine, which I'm really excited about to see what she does with that one. And then her third one will be a fantasy story that she'll write at the end of the year. So those were the writing projects that were included aside from the scrolls for the Dragon Academy. Okay, now we do have a curriculum as well. We have Learning Language Arts through Literature. So this is my student and teacher guide. Basically, it's pretty much open and go, this curriculum. It does have writing assignments in here, so it does have different, depending on which level you get, there is a different focus or emphasis, if you like. So the 10 level was on creative writing, and so she's been doing quite a bit of that in here, but also research as well. So she recently completed her writing project that we were, for the particular week we were up to, and that was for research, and she researched all about different kinds of dog breeds, and she had a topic question, which was why a Cavalier is the best dog. So she had to I guess argue her point as to why they were the best dog, using her research as backup. If you don't know, we've got 6 Cavaliers, so but she did have to prove why. So she did explain about all kinds of things about the temperament, and it was really good. So that was a really fun project, and they gave an example in here, and it was about a bike. So the child could they showed kind of the research process of a child deciding which bike to get, versus different types of brands and everything else. So give them a guide, and then you could I'll just show you actually, hang on. Okay, so this is the teacher guide. So it's how to conduct personal research, and then it was a day-by-day process, as is their curriculum, and it tells you all the sort of the questions to think about when you're wanting to purchase a certain brand of a bike, and then it gave you a checklist to go through, and then you could edit it obviously and make a final copy. So that was a really good project that she did recently. So there is writing in here, so you don't think that you have to have your own writing curriculum necessarily. You don't. I think there is quite a bit in here, but we do like to add things on because we are eclectic, and I like to make my own stuff sometimes, like with Dragon Academy, and I've done Magic School Bus, Dining on Science before, because for our science, I do really enjoy making my own things as well, particularly if it's interest-led. So Wings of Fire was completely interest-led. She wanted me to make a Wings of Fire homeschool, so I did. But we do curriculum as well, and I really do like Learning Language Arts through Literature. Now, they do have 4 book studies. We're only doing 2 this year because of the fact we're doing Wings of Fire, because she's reading 6 books with Wings of Fire, so I thought 8 books in 1 year was enough for school. Obviously, she reads her own things as well, but I thought that was enough for school. So we're on Big Red currently, and if you've never seen one of the book studies before, you can find this book study reading guide. You have to download it, though, separately, so it has each of the books in that they're supposed to read. So that was what she would be reading. So the ones we're doing is these 2, and we're skipping those 2 because of the fact we're doing Dragon Academy. So basically, there's the titles in case you can't see the pictures very well. So depending on the book, it'll give you a schedule, so it'll tell you, what chapters to read. Because when I first purchased this curriculum years ago, I never knew about this. So we just used to, make it up as we went along in terms of how many chapters we chose to read that day. But if you want to, you can follow the schedule, which is really good because it helps you know how to, well, not know, but how to manage everything in terms of it tells you how, if you use this schedule, how many days it'll take to read and everything else. So I do really like that. It's on their website if you want to download it. There's nothing in the book that says it exists, so I never knew about this. I found this purely by chance. I was reading someone's blog, about a review of learning language arts through literature for one of the levels I was looking at for the future, and they mentioned this guide, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go and find it. So it is on their website. It's a free download. So for example, where are we? Big Red. So it gives you the schedule of what to do, what the vocabulary words are. So that's just the book study reading guide, but then you do get your little study to do with each book. So for Big Red, this is what we had. So it's vocabulary words, choosing the correct word and fitting it into the sentences, unscramble, enrichment, there was discussion questions, and some activities that you could do if you wanted to. So that was what the book study for Big Red was like. Okay, so that's all together. I guess you would say language arts done. So I'll do those. We'll do those together. But then in the afternoon, so after lunch in the afternoon, this is when she'll do her independent language arts. So for us this year, it's spelling you see. So we are doing ancient achievements. We don't do this every single day. I kind of tailor it because we do use spelling and word study 180 days. And I have mentioned in a video before, I really do like this curriculum. It's a different way. It's more word study than spelling, in my opinion, although you can, I found at the back hidden there is actually a page where, not necessarily where you can test, but you can do kind of an assessment, which I think is actually really interesting for the words. But I really like the word study aspect of this curriculum. And then she also does her vocabulary. So this is my book that I made that's on Amazon, and basically all she does is, nearly at the end of this one, so I need to order a new one, but basically she writes the word of the day from Mrs. Wordsmith, which I'll show in a second. She defines it, she can tell a joke with it she likes. She really loves telling jokes. She can use it in a sentence, she can draw it, she can put it, if it's a Greek or Latin root, they put a different word she could use, and then if she wants, she can make up a poem or riddle using it, just a fun way. So it's the same throughout the whole book, so that you can, and it's generic, so that you can use it with any kind of vocabulary book that you have. As I said, we use it with the Mrs. Wordsmith Storyteller Word a Day. So basically it's got the word, what kind of parts of speech it is, and then on the back it always is upside down. So then we've got the synonyms. So I think it's like a calendar, which is supposed to stand up, but we never use it that way. Word pairs, again the parts of speech. It has where it comes from, if that's available. It also tells you story starter if you wanted to use it as a story. So she'll do all those independently after lunch. Now, every day we have a different writing activity on the days where she doesn't have a big project to do. So for example, that week where she had a big writing project to do with a report, we didn't do this. So don't think, oh my God, this, why is she doing so much writing? No, if there's a big writing project in learning language arts through literature, then she doesn't do this as well. But some weeks there isn't a big writing project, in which case she will do this. So each day is a different activity. So one of the days might be that she does a narration based on our nature study that we did that week. Then one of the days she will do either her own dragon story, which she's been writing, or she'll do this one, Schooling with Dragons, Fantasy and Fiction Creative Writing Journal. Again, this is in the afternoon by herself independently. One of the days she will do something from her dog lover's journal, and that's something else. That's Morning Basket book. She has the Dog Breed Guide book, which she can use for her research, as well as Heroic Tales of Trusty Hands, because sometimes it'll ask you in here to kind of make a newspaper article of a dog that's, achieved something. So that's what that book is for. So that's everything that we've been doing for language arts for 6th grade. So if you have any questions, leave them below. Otherwise, take care, and I'll see you in on my next video. Let me know in the comments which subject you'd like to see next. So math, science, history, geography, which one you'd like to see next. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye for now.